Hey, badass business owners. Today I want to talk about staying motivated when your business has slowed down dramatically. And this is actually happening to quite a few businesses that are out there. Now, at any given point, there's going to be businesses that are thriving and doing really well. And there's going to be businesses, unfortunately, that are not doing as well. Think about when coronavirus hit, some of you guys started doing so much business it was ridiculous, and others meanwhile were hurting and suffering and could barely keep the doors open, especially if you were, for example, in a go-to-you type business. You really lost your shirt during that time frame, where those that were servicing homes were doing really well. But now it's kind of reversed a little bit, and part of that is because there was also a lot of money that was put into the marketplace, and people started spending that money on their home and getting things done. Well, that money obviously is no longer there. There's concerns of a recession. People are pulling back, not spending as much money, not doing some of those services that they were doing back in the day. So we are having quite a few people that their business is not as strong as it once was. It's kind of like the high they had. For example, yesterday I was talking to someone that went from, 200 jobs per se to 2,000. It went crazy on them. And now it's kind of back down. And I talked to business owner after business owner that is experiencing something very similar. And for example, even if you go into the real estate field that I also am in part of, there's a lot of realtors that had the best year they ever had last year. And this year it's like crickets for them. And I always say the best of the best are who are going to survive. Those that are able to tweak and modify and learn will get better as well. So it's really across board in a lot of places. And one of the problems is, and it happens to myself as well, is, how do you continue to stay motivated when you've come off this time of your business where it was just out of control? Because especially if you're like me, I thrive under pressure. I mean, if I have a lot to do, I'm going to show you, I'm going to get it all done. I'm like moving and grooving and just going from thing after thing. Well, when that pressure's off and you have time on your hands, it's interesting how unproductive you become, because it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of, gosh, I got these 50 million things that I need to get done and I don't really want to do any of them. I just, I need to get more sales, and your brain kind of is monkey mining all over the place, if you will, and trying to figure out what they should be doing. And the motivation isn't behind it, because at the end of the day, none of it is really satisfying that itch that you have to create more sales. Hopefully that kind of makes sense for some of you. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take a few moments today and really talk about how do you get through this period of your business and continue to stay motivated. Well, the first thing is you always must keep your eye on the prize. This is probably for most people a bump in the road, something that will ease, whether it's going to be 3 months from now, a year from now. Now, I get it. You got to come up with money to put food on the table and to pay your bills. And I'm not saying it's going to take that long for that. But what we have to do is we have to keep you moving forward, because when you stagnate and you're not even trying, well, it's only going to get worse. And at minimum, you can stop the bleeding, and you may not create all the profit you were once having, but you should be able to at least maintain the business and the needs of your family at the same time. Now, one of the biggest things that you can do is you can take a few minutes and say, if I was to be crazy busy again, what were the broken parts of my business that would have helped me make more money, or to help it become smoother, if you will, as I was doing it? Because this is where, when you're busy as crap and then you kind of slow down, you can see some of the broken pieces of your business. And it could be something that has to do with scheduling. It could be how you were getting back to people. It could be the fact that you discovered that your route was ridiculous, the way you were trying to get everything done. It could be how you were purchasing stuff. It could be that your people weren't as trained as you thought they were. There were some pieces of your business that, when you were crazy busy, that really stood out as weak points of the chain, if you will. So here's what I want you to do is I want you to identify 2 or 3 of those that you really realize that you need to fix. Because when it's slower, think of it this way. When you're busy as crap, you never have time to fix that stuff. You need to take advantage of the slower time and think of it as a pause to retweak your business, kind of like a staircase, if you will, that landing. You've got to take this pause, and you need to work on those pieces of your business, because if you were to get that busy again, you're going to have the exact same problems if you do not make any changes to your business. And you're also leaving business on the table because a lot of times those processes that I'm talking about prevent you from going to the next level. And for some of you, you'll find that you moaned and groaned a lot that you needed people and you couldn't find people. Maybe it was your process. But for some people, you really never needed a person. You needed to fix what was broken, which was causing you to need a person because you never had time to do it because of that broken process. Matter of fact, I hear a lot of people say, oh, I need to hire someone. I need to hire someone. And the reality is when they're talking to me and I'm looking at their business, they don't need to hire someone, nor can they afford to hire someone. It really comes down to the processes that they have in place, and it's costing them money in sales. And they think they need a person, but that's actually not the problem. It's going to compound their problem because now they're going to have another person and they're going to make less money. So you really want to be careful about that. So while you are working on those processes and those pieces of your business that really need to be improved, I want you to start thinking about the next wave of your business. Now, there are 3 ways to increase your sales. You can either go find new customers, you can get customers to repeat and come back more often, or you could increase your average ticket. Those are the 3 ways that you increase your sales: by creating new customers, get old customers to repeat more often, or get them to spend more money. So what you want to do is you want to take a look at all 3 of these buckets and start asking you, what are some things that you can do? So let's start with repeat customers. If you have a type of business that last year you were doing really well in, get on the phone today and call those people up. If you have one of these types of businesses, call these people up and just make an assumption that they want to use your business again this year. For example, I was talking to a carpet cleaning business, and one of the things is they go into season right before the holidays. September, October, November are very good months for carpet cleaning, because people are getting ready for guests and people coming over to their house and whatnot. And what you can do is you can call them up and say, hey there, Mrs. Jones, I noticed that last year we cleaned your carpets right before the holidays. Can we go ahead and get you on the schedule? So don't ask them if they need you. Just say, hey, can we get you on the schedule? Because more than likely, Mrs. Jones is running around like a chicken with her head cut off and thinking about 50 million things and has been telling herself that she needs to call the carpet cleaning people to go ahead and get this set up. So you're just help facilitating that for them. So think about your business and ask yourself, are there certain customers that you can reach out to that you can give a call and pre-set up some services for them? Some people will even set up, saying, hey, we're going to be raising our prices here over the next few months. Can we go ahead and get you in before the end of the year? And those prices go up. So there's all kinds of different things that you can do to try to get some of those customers to come back and to start using your services right now versus waiting for them to do it at the beginning of the year. Now, when we talk about add-on products, there's a couple different things. One, you need to increase your prices, possibly, if we've been talking a lot about that. So if you haven't done the exercise already, to go back and look at how much, sales minus cost of goods minus expenses equals your profits. If you have not been plugging that in and looking at the pricing of everything you do to make sure you're priced correctly, you need to do that now. No excuse not to have that done, especially as we are headed to the end of the year, because the end of the year and the beginning of the year is the perfect time for you to change those prices, which is going to sound counterintuitive because here you are hurting for sales and you want to change your prices. Trust me, the people not using it aren't because you have a pricing problem. It's just because they're holding on to their cash right now while they figure out what's going on in the world. And once we have this election and it's over with, every election slows things down. Talk of the recession starts to cool down a little bit. All these different things, you're going to start finding people spend money again. You want to make sure that you're priced and ready to go. And trust me, they're more than likely your price is not the reason they're not using you today for the vast majority of you. So don't get hung up on that. The second thing that you can be looking at is there's a couple ways to increase your average ticket. One is through pricing, but 2 is through add-on items. Are there other things that you can bundle together? Are there things that you can add for a very cheap price? For example, hey, while I'm here, how about if I go ahead and do this? There's a lot of businesses that have crossover pieces that they can do. So for example, if somebody is power washing somebody's house in the driveway, they'll say, hey, we can add on your gutters for this low price while we're here. We've already got the equipment and my team is here. Or how about if I go ahead and put this chemical down on top of the job that we just did because it's going to help help with the refreshing and help it keep last longer, whatever the case may be. A lot of times there is some type of add-on item that you can do, including, by the way, a warranty. Let's say that you have a 2-year warranty on whatever it is that you do, or a 1-year warranty on whatever it is that you do. You could just say for $50, you can extend that warranty or double it or whatever. Because here's the thing, why warranties are so wonderful is they typically are 100% profit, and not everybody uses them. Because a lot of people will get hung up going, well, what if I have to redo? Okay, statistically, it's very low. I think it's something like under 20%. It's like 15, something like that, percent of people will ever use it. And since it's all profit, you only have a problem if you get to a certain number. And for most people, they have found this to be very lucrative to be able to add these warranties onto their business, because if they can get 1 out of 4 people, 1 out of 5, it's just great money to add on. I've talked about this one in the past, and people have found some really good success with doing it. So think about how can you add on to your current services or bundle or whatever the case may be. So this way you can start earning a little bit more money today with the current customers that you have, but you have it in place and ready to go when you start taking off and you start doing better. Now, the third one, obviously we talked about increasing the frequency of your customers coming in. We've talked about increasing your dollar rich. Well, the third one obviously is the new customers, which is always the hardest one because they're cold, they don't know you, and a lot of times you're having to spend some money to go out and get them. Now, this is a great time for you to be able to sit back and say, okay, how can I get some of these new customers? Am I focused on my ideal customer? Have I been chasing the wrong customer all along? Is there a community that I've never thought about that I can go ahead and target? For example, as our population ages, there's a lot of people that live in 55 plus communities or areas where they may be able to use your service more than others. And some of them have gotten themselves financially into a situation where they can afford for someone to do it for them. Have you been targeting them like you could have been? What can you do to go after that specific group of individuals? Instead of you trying to focus on everybody under the sun, how can you focus on a select ideal customer that is the person that you really would love to work with in the future and to grow your business versus trying to chase everybody? So that's a good way for you to be able to do that. Maybe you want to target a specific neighborhood in general. Maybe you found out that, you know what, I'm traveling all over the place outside of my 5-mile radius. I'm going 30 minutes this way and then another 40 minutes that way. And how can I start just really chasing that business that's within my 5-mile radius so I'm not spending as much time on the road? What's going to be the game plan? How do you dial into the person that you are really ultimately trying to do? Now, one thing you can do that will tie it into something we said earlier when we were talking about processes, great idea came up yesterday, is somebody getting on the phone and start calling up their past clients to try to get the Google reviews. Let's face it, everybody starts looking for you on the internet, and most people are still, I think it's like over 80%, almost 90% start with Google. Why not go on there and see if you can get a hold of people and say, hey, if you thought that we offered you 5-star service, would you mind taking a few minutes? Here's the link and doing a review for our business. You notice how I said there, if you feel we gave you 5-star business, it really is subliminal kind of putting that out there to them, what you're hoping that they will do. But once again, it's fixing a broken process that you probably don't have in place that you can continue to do even after you get busy. But it's going to help you get new customers, because if they're searching the internet and they are finding you there, then they're more likely to use you if they start seeing some of those 5-star reviews and what people are saying about you. Now, listen, I don't want this to drag on forever, but my main thing is I know it's difficult to stay motivated when sales have dropped and you just don't have the business pulling at you like it used to, because we kind of get used to that speed, that pace, and we want to keep it up. And when it slows down, we don't have that speed and pace, and we don't have the piranhas nipping at our behind, if you will. So it's not creating the sense of urgency inside of us to go get a lot of stuff done. And it's important that we find that internally and keep a list of things that you should always be working on. You're going to have to be that person that's riding your butt and putting time frames on stuff. So don't just say, well, this is on my plate, I want to get it done, and then each day goes by and you don't get it done. You really have to give yourself timelines to get stuff done, because when you're super busy, you have those timelines, which is why you get the stuff done. And if you just wait it out, what's going to end up happening is you're going to be slow for 4, 5, 6 months. Then it's going to pick up again, and you're going to be kicking yourself because you never worked on the things that you know you should have worked on in order to build your business better the second time. So as you go for that next wave, you want to make sure that you have all the pieces in place to be as successful and profitable as you can be. Remember, this is a profit game, not a sales game. I know a lot of people get mad when I say that because they think sales is everything. You got to have sales. Absolutely. You have no business without sales, but you also have no business if you have no profit. Okay. So they go hand in hand. You have to have good sales that make good profit. And they're not mutually exclusive. They have to work together, and it's just the way that it is. So we want you to be able to continue to move your business forward. For some of you, if you had better profit, think about it, the slower time wouldn't be as painful as it is because you just don't have the reserves to help you get the business through it. And some of you are sitting pretty good because you had been working on your profitability and you had money in the bank, so it's not as stressful as it could possibly be. And that's why we talk about the fact that we need to build our profits in our business so we can get through times like this. All right, so let's go ahead. Think about your list today. Make sure you get out there and that you start focusing on how are you going to find new customers? How are you going to increase their frequency? How are you going to get them to spend more money? What are the processes that you're going to work on to help make it bigger, better the next time? How are you going to train your employees to be better at what it is that they do? How are you going to find better employees in the future? How are you going to reduce the need of having to find that extra person if you were on the fence before about hiring someone? How can you help your people be better? How can you put process in place that will help you out? Whatever the case may be, whatever you feel are the weak spots of your business, I really want you focused on those and having a list that you can go to at all times. Don't let your brain wander. Don't let your brain going, oh, I wonder what I'm going to work on today. You need to create what that list is and always go back to the list and look at it every single day. Bump things, change things, move things as something better comes along if that's the case. But it's really important that you get things done. Don't try to bounce around between 4 or 5 things because you'll never get any of them done. Trust me. That's not the way our brains work. You need to have a singular focus on something that you know is going to make a big change. Get it done, get it knocked out just like you would a job, and then move on to the next thing on the list. Don't try to bounce back and forth between all of them. Check that box, get it done just like you would a customer. And it's going to have that same kind of adrenaline rush that you get from when you're really super busy today. So a lot of good information in there today. Hopefully you'll have a nugget or two that you can latch onto to help you stay motivated and know what you should be spending your time and energy on. Let's get through this weird phase that we're in at the moment, and let's come out and finish this year strong, and let's make sure we go into next year ready to just really kick some butt and take some names and all that good stuff. Oh, and before you go, one of those things that you could be working on during this slower time is learning your business numbers. My gosh, people, how often do we talk about this? And one of the excuses that I hear all the time from people is, I just don't have time to work on my numbers. I don't have time to fix them. I don't have time to clean them up. I don't have time to go back and fix the mess that I created. Yes, if you're slower, you have absolutely the time to do that. So please make sure that you dive into your business numbers. I can't believe I forgot this one earlier. And if you want to learn more about your business numbers, don't forget we have the YouTube channel that has all the different things that we talk about that show you how to do it. And if you want them all in one place, the Know Your Business Numbers course is in the show notes. For a very low price, you can go start learning your business numbers. But whatever you do, please take advantage of this time as well to make sure that you go clean up your books. Make sure you start learning those business numbers. It is crucial. It's going to help you make that profit that you need to know. All right, with that, I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now.